Hi storytellers, I'm Story Seller Jason Hakes. Welcome to Sell Your Story. In this video, I'll share 3 tips on how to write a better book description like this one for Viking Blood and Blade, Book 1 in the Viking Blood and Blade Saga, a Viking adventure novel by Peter Gibbons, published in 2021. I'm going to talk about this description with you because I think it does such a great job of using tip number 3. Let's go ahead and get started. Like and subscribe, and I'm going to read this description to you. If you like Bernard Cornwell, Con Eagledon, Simon Scarrow, David Gemmell, and Giles Christian, you will love this epic Viking adventure, packed with battles, treachery, blood, and gore. 865 AD, the fierce Vikings stormed onto Saxon soil, hungry for spoils, conquest, and vengeance for the death of Ragnar Lothbrok. Hundr, a Northman with a dog's name, a crew of battle-hardened warriors, and Ivar the Boneless. Amidst the invasion of Saxon England by the sons of Ragnar Lothbrok, Hundr joins a crew of Viking warriors under the command of Einar the Brawler. Hundr fights to forge a warrior's reputation under the glare of Ivar and his equally fearsome brothers. But to do that, he must battle the Saxons and treachery from within the Viking army itself. Hundr must navigate the invasion, survive brutal attacks, and find his place in the vicious world of the Vikings in this fast-paced adventure with memorable characters. That's a fantastic description. Let's go ahead and get into the 3 tips. Tip number 1, use an if-then statement. An if-then statement helps you call out to the right buyer. Of course, in books, it's the right reader. So, if-then statements mean you say, if you like this, then you will love this. And the usefulness for that is it actually shows that you understand what your readership enjoys. That's how you prove you actually understand what they want, what they're looking for, and you can call that out. Now, in this case, it mentions several authors who write the same kind of story. So if you have readers who want to read a Viking adventure book and you mention those authors, then they know where you're coming from. They get your vibe, they get your tone, and they're going to look forward to reading your book. Then you get to say that they will love this, and then you get to say whatever the common features are of those authors' works with yours. Bernard and Con and Simon and David and Giles, Viking adventure, packed with battles, treachery, blood, and gore. This is fantastic. If that's what you get from them, then that's what you're going to get here, and you're going to love it. Use an if-then statement. That leads me into tip number 2. Tip number 2. Use future pacing. Future pacing. It means you're going to tell the shopper what kind of emotional experience they will have with your product. So in this case, you're telling readers that they will love this book, they'll be scared by it, they'll have the thrill of a lifetime with it, whatever the genre is, whatever the tone of your story, right? Well, here's what's fantastic. Using the if-then statement allows you to future pace how the reader will feel about your adventure. It's right here. You will love this. That's it. That's future pacing. Now, could you future pace without using an if-then statement? Yes. I'm sure you've seen it all the time. This will scare you. This will whatever. All of that is future pacing. But when you use an if-then statement, you future pace with it and you show your expertise. So you can actually accomplish the first 2 tips in this book description by using an if-then statement. How great is that? It's less work for you. Use the if-then, you can future pace, just like that. So tip number 2, use future pacing. So here's tip number 3. Create a sales atmosphere. What does that mean? It means use the language of your genre, of your story, to get the shopper in the mood to read your story. I love how well this description does that. This language, when I was reading it, you could tell I was having a little bit of fun. That's because the language is so great. Epic Viking adventure, battles, treachery, blood, gore, fierce Vikings, hungry for spoils, conquest, vengeance for death, battle-hardened warriors, Einar the Brawler. When Einar the Brawler shows up, you know you're in for a bloody battle. Fights, fearsome, brutal attacks, vicious, fast-paced adventure. This is a sales atmosphere. This is telling them exactly what it is that they're going to experience and how much fun it's going to be, and it's exactly the kind of story that they want. Now, I have a small criticism with memorable characters. To close out this description, it sounds too modern. You've made me feel transported, the atmosphere, the sales atmosphere. I feel like I'm back there in that time. And I love that when you have gone so far in this direction with the blood and the gore and Einar. We don't need to acknowledge with memorable characters necessarily. I'm never going to forget Einar the Brawler, right? From the description. And I'm going to be reading this book, by the way, but I'm looking forward to it. But that's how you create a sales atmosphere. You use the right words to specifically explain your characters, some of the tropes you'll be using, and the emotional tone. So that's tip number 3, create a sales atmosphere. I hope those tips help you sell your story in your book description. Like the video if you liked it, and subscribe so you don't miss future videos that also help you sell your story. For my hands-on help with your book descriptions, click the link in this video's description to go to isellyourstory.net. .com was taken. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.